Call us on your cell phone.
Culinary Hotline bling.
That can only mean one thing, yeah.
No ways.
Okay, all right, in recovery mode right now. It's a Wednesday and you know what it means. It's time for the Culinary Hotline bling.
Ting, ting, ting.
And we're joined by, no doubt, one of our favorite foodies. Zola Nene is in the studio, ladies and gentlemen. And last week we were speaking and answering questions all related to red meat, such as beef and lamb. And so many of our Facebook followers were like, but what about the chicken? What about the pork? So today, Zola's here to answer all of those questions. And of course, you're welcome to give us a call on 021-430-9881. I was going to ask how you're doing, but after taking Omfi...
You gave me the opportunity, I took it. Omfi?
It's good to have you back in the kitchen,
Thank you.
talking about probably, arguably, my favorite food in the world. So let's get straight into the questions,
yes,
shall we? Facebook, first of all, had Miriam Bibi Ibrahim, who said, when meat and steaks are done rare, it's usually very delicious, whatever,
Absolutely.
not detrimental to your health, but why can't we eat chicken rare?
Well, the short answer is that there's bacteria that lives and penetrates chicken and pork that is detrimental to people, unlike meat, for example.
Yes.
So also the density of meat, usually there's bacteria and stuff around the outside,
Yes.
which you cook when you have a rare piece of steak. So
Absolutely.
you pretty much kill all those enzymes and the bacteria, etc. And the density of meat doesn't make it easy for bacteria and parasites to actually penetrate to the core of it.
Yes.
So generally the core is safe. So that's why you can eat it raw. Chicken and pork, very different. People are very afraid of salmonella, and rightly so, because that stuff will hurt you. Like, hurt you.
It will hurt you.
And also pork as well. Also carries a lot of bacteria and enzymes. The one that people are usually very, very afraid of, or used to be more afraid of than they are now, was trichinosis, which used to live on the outside of pork.
Chickenosis?
Trichinosis.
Oh, sorry, trichinosis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not chickenosis.
Okay, yes.
On the pork. But it does die at 58 degrees, so
Okay.
you're actually safe to eat it. And the internal temperature that pork should be is 75 degrees.
Yes.
So basically it is safe to eat. So that's why you're allowed nowadays to eat pink pork, because the temperatures are fine. Chicken, though, on the other hand, just think about a raw piece of chicken breast. Would you ever want to eat that? The texture, just think about the texture. I think also thinking about the way that a meat eats is also very important, regardless of the bacteria and the enzymes.
Yes.
It's just not appetizing.
Yeah.
Whereas
Look,
rare meat, the texture is delicious.
I, for one, hate dry chicken. I can't do dry chicken.
Correct.
It's got to have the right kind of moisture in it. And when we talk about baking chicken right now, we'll focus on that a little bit. But yeah, like you say, if it's not cooked well and on the inside, you still get that raw chicken smell. It's just not amazing. What
Can I just give you a high five for that pomfrey that you did there? That was awesome. Yay!
All right, we'll come back with more of your questions. And of course, give us a call on 021-430-9881. We'll be back with the Culinary Hotline bling. Ting, ting, ting.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
I'm now keeping a safe distance from Zola Nene, but we're back again in the kitchen for the Culinary Hotline bling. Ting, ting, ting. Wow, there was a very... Get, you know, 021-430-9881. We're talking about all things chicken and pork today in the kitchen. And earlier on, we were talking about why you can't eat pork or chicken rare. It's bad for you. The enzymes and the bacteria that live inside, not good for you. But how do you bake chicken properly without burning it? Because we want to cook it properly, but you still want it to be nice and moist and beautiful, and don't burn it.
Yes, as with most things that you put into the oven, you have to keep an eye on it, okay?
Yeah,
So don't just leave something and think it's going to take care of itself. Keep an eye on it. Also, chicken usually burns quickly in the oven when you cook it on grill setting. Remember, that's when the top element's on and it's really, really hot.
Okay.
And then it chars the top if you don't keep an eye on it.
Yes.
So set your oven to actual convection, okay?
Okay, so the heat goes all over the oven.
Absolutely. And then bake it until it's just cooked. So when you're cooking something like a breast, think about the fact that there's not much fat inside the breast to keep it moist and keep it juicy.
Yes.
So if you overcook it, it's not a pleasure to eat. So you've got to just make sure that you watch it.
Okay.
You watch it. And also opaque or raw chicken has a very different texture. It's very springy, or
Yes.
it's not springy. It doesn't give so much. You touch it and it
stays.
Exactly.
It stays.
When chicken is cooked, it gives a little more, so it pushes back. So just, get used to the touch. But until you're used to that, maybe just peek in with a knife or a fork.
I know everyone is wondering at home about this wonderful recipe you brought in for us, but you said that the core temperature is very important, or the inside temperatures.
Yes.
If you don't have one of those fancy measuring forks, is there a way that you can
There is a
possibly...
way. So when you cut into the chicken or the pork and the juices run clear, so, you know, it sort of seeps juices because it should be juicy. And if you cremated it and it's got no liquid left in it, in which case you should just, you know, put it in the bin. But, okay, so when you cut into, and if you're doing like a whole chicken, for example, cut into the joint, so the leg joint.
Yes.
Don't cut into like the flesh of the breast. Cut into the leg joint and sort of separate it. And if the juices there run clear, usually the juices will pull up in that leg joint.
Yes.
And if they're clear, you're safe to eat it.
You're good
so don't
to
look
go.
at the bone, because the bone might still be pink, but the juices are what it is.
All right, well, let's get into the seasoning of chicken and how you can do this. So what have you brought?
So this
hold on. We have a caller on the line. Michael, all the way from Mitchell's Plain. Good morning, Michael.
Hello, good morning.
So great to have you on the line.
I just want to ask Zola, what do you think is the best spice to use on the chicken to brine?
To braai. I love that
Yes.
question, Michael.
That is a very good question. And chicken is one of those meats that absorbs any flavor. So the options are endless. I love a bit of garam masala for a bit of a spicy note. The one trick is, though, when you're braaiing chicken, make sure you oil the chicken, then put the spices on so they stick. Otherwise, you know, they tend to sort of fly off and then you don't actually... What's wrong?
I knew I was doing something wrong. Like at home, we'd have these massive, like, big, and then you throw the chicken and they like spice, and then when you put it on the braai,
the spices at the
70%
bottom.
of the spices at the bottom.
Exactly. So you need it to stick to the chicken. Also, the oil helps it brown and become really crispy. Okay, so garam masala is great. Things like cumin and coriander as a combination, really great. Paprika, smoked paprika, wonderful. Herbs. I mean, like I said, chicken... The options are endless. Chicken will basically go with any flavoring that you give it.
I'm glad you say that, because right now we're going to be using Herb Mare Original, which is a beautiful seasoning sea salt that has been mixed with, infused with organic herbs that have been harvested and mixed into the process, I think like some 8 hours just after they've been harvested, so they're 100% organic. So tell me how we use that in your marinade to make sure that the chicken does indeed absorb all of those flavors.
Yeah, so marinating is really important. What people do as well to make sure that the chicken stays juicy is to brine chicken. So whenever you add like an acid like vinegar, it sort of tenderizes the meat as well and helps it sort of absorb any flavor.
It kind of like relaxes a little bit, and then those sinews just...
Okay. Okay, so here we've got some buttermilk, or you could use some milk, so clover full cream milk. And then we've got some spices that we added to it. You could add some of your herb mare to that just to flavor it. So flavor the chicken at every stage. That way you're sure that it's going to get deep into the chicken.
And you said a very good chef, seasons at every stage. So this would be the substitute for your salt, right? Instead of using conventional salt, use that because it has salt in it already.
Exactly, and I always like to put a little bit of hot sauce, so sriracha sauce, into my marinade or brine, just to give it that extra flavor. Then we can add the herb mare here.
Do you kind of go, when you season, do you go by hand and just like...
I do, because I sort of know... Yeah, I sort of know what it takes to season a certain size of meat. Yeah. Okay, so I can do that, you know, experience and such. But for you, I mean, something like this, maybe before you put the chicken in here, taste that brine or that marinade. Okay. And it should be highly seasoned. So it shouldn't be, you know, just perfect. It should be extra seasoned, because remember, not all of it's going to penetrate into the chicken. Okay. And then at this stage too, you could add taste the crumbs if you wanted, but obviously that's not necessary. Then once this is sort of sat in its brine or in its marinade,
do you go overnight with that?
Overnight would be fantastic, because then it goes deeper in. Because the marinade is wet, you don't have to oil the chicken anymore, right? Because this is going to stick now. Okay. So then you get the crumbage. You could use flour here, and a trick I love to do is take some of the, if I'm using flour, take some of the marinade, put some in here, and make big flakes, so it makes it even more crispy.
Extra crunchy, and then you get
and can you see how it's stuck to that? And then you want to get it into the oil. The oil must not be too hot. It's got to sizzle, but not go crazy. Yes. Otherwise, your core temperature is not going to be right.
While you do a few more pieces, the good thing if you are going to be using herb mare as your substitute for salt is that it has no additives or preservatives or MSGK as well. So 100% natural and unrefined. You're getting the good stuff in there. Yep. This is why I do the Culinary Hotline for moments of sizzle like this. That too, Zola. Listen, give us a call, 021-430-9881. We'll be back again with Zola, Nene and her fried chicken on the Culinary Hotline. Bling! Ting!
Call us on your cell phone.
Culinary Hotline Bling!
That can only mean one thing.
Hey, yes, get in the kitchen with us. Zola Nene is here for the Culinary Hotline Bling. Ting! We got a question from Njabula who asked us about cooking the perfect fried chicken.
Yes.
My grandmother used to get it right, and I still have never perfected fried chicken. What's the secret to making a perfectly fried chicken?
Okay, so the oil is very important. The oil temperature is very important to make sure that the chicken cooks all the way through and you get that crispy coating.
Yeah.
Don't overcrowd the oil, the pan.
Yes.
Otherwise, you boil the chicken and the coating comes off and it doesn't stick. So that's a very important tip. And then also, just to reiterate, brining or marinating the chicken before you actually cook it is very important. So you could use clover, full cream milk with spices and seasonings, etc. Then add your chicken to that and let it sit. You could also use buttermilk. You could also brine it in a sugar, salt, and water solution because that'll absorb into the flesh of the chicken and make it juicy. And then, once you've done that, keep it overnight, just so it penetrates even deeper. Coat the chicken, then the temperature of the chicken.
The kind of coat that you use, right?
Yes.
These are very fine
breadcrumbs. So these aren't my favorite. My favorite coating is flour, cake flour, that I flavor in the same way. So smoked paprika or regular paprika, sweet paprika. Dried oregano, you could use this herbamare, or you could use salt and pepper. And then I take some of the brine mixture or this buttermilk mixture, and I put a couple of tablespoons in here. So it creates these big flakes of flour. And that sticks to the chicken, and it increases the surface area for crispiness.
Okay, all right. Ooh. But the importance...
And then I'm thinking about it. Then that makes those big flakes, and then once it goes into the oven, into the oil, it all gets crispy all the way around, and it's just perfect.
Is there a more suitable oil to fry chicken in than another?
It has to be an oil with a high burning temperature. So you could fry in coconut oil. You can fry in canola oil, sunflower oil. Don't fry in olive oil because you want the temperature to be so high that it'll denature the oil and then the flavors will be a bit strange. But so just an oil that has a high burning temperature.
Fantastic stuff. Zola, thank you so much. We are so proud of you. We're going to be chatting to Zola just now about some presenter search on 3 tips for you. So make sure not to miss out on that. Always a pleasure.
Yay!
Zola, thank you. Yes, done.
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA, made with love by Clover.